आपादमौलिपर्यन्तां गुरूणां प्रतिं स्मरेति न विघ्नः प्रणश्यन्ति सिद्धन्ति च मनोरथाः लक्ष्मीं तनोतु नितरामितरानपेक्षम् अङ्घ्रिद्वयं निगमशाकिशिखाप्रवालम् हैरम्बमम्बुरुहडम्बरचौर्यनिग्रहं विघ्नात्रिभेदशतधारधरन्धरः सर्वेषां स्वागतम्. This is the Bhāvārtha for the 54th shloka. ध्यात्वैवमात्मानमहर्निशं मुनिः तिष्ठेत् सदा मुक्तसमस्तबन्धनः प्रारब्धमश्नन्नभिमानवर्जितः मय्येव साक्षात् प्रविलीयते ततः ध्यात्वैवमात्मानमहर्निशं मुनिः तिष्ठेत् सदा मुक्तसमस्तबन्धनः प्रारब्धमश्नन्नभिमानवर्जितः मय्येव साक्षात् प्रविलीयते ततः. So further continuing from that point of time, and we have to again re-emphasize on the state of Rama at this point of time. He is no longer in his human state. He has connected to the Brahman state. So dhyatva, contemplating, dhyatva evam, dhyatvaiva. So we are saying dhyatva evam atmanam. So one who is contemplating on the Atma, on the state of Brahman, self contemplation, Atmanam, what do we, some avabodha, self contemplation, svavabodha. So that is what is happening. So when we say Atmanam, it is self actualization, the most practicing part of it. So Dhyatva evam Atmanam Aharnisham. Aharnisham is day and night, continuously, without a break. That is Aharnisham. Nisham and Nisham is Nisha is what we say for night. Aharnisham. So regardless of day or night. So he's continually one who is contemplating it continuously. There we talked about abhyasa. The person who practices it regularly, that is samadhi, the state of samadhi, that person will be able to win over his internal enemies or true enemies, whichever we want to take it, which actually helps us to see that Rama is Brahman, or in his Brahman form. We will be able to see Rama in that Brahman form when we are able to get rid of our internal enemies. That is questionable mind. Arishad Vargas, when we say it is all a questionable mind, doubting every bit, etc., etc., etc. So only without that, when we surrender only, we are able to see it. That is the point of it. So here, dhyatva evam atmanam, the one who is contemplating it, one who is indulging in self-contemplation without a break. Aharnisham, that person is munihi. So we talked about who is a yogi. So the one who is doing abhyasa, that is doing the abhyasa of that state of samadhi, that person is a yogi. But a person who is contemplating continuously without a break, that person in a muni is called a munihi. So munihi. Then tishthet sada mukta samasta bandhanaha. That person shall always remain free from any kind of bondage. Any kind of bondage. So tishthet sada mukta samasta bandhanaha. Prarabdham ashnan abhimana varjitaha. Prarabdham is when we talk about the karma phalas, we need to understand the different karmas also. Karmas can be sanchita. We have talked about this before itself. I'm just going back to that. Prarabdha karma. We have the sanchita karma. So in that case, prarabdha karma is what we are doing today. So it has an impact, and we have to take up the karma phala. There is no way of stopping it. But question is, what if the karma phala is not something that I don't that I want? if it is something that I don't want, or something that affects me negatively, is it possible for me to take it up? Obviously, I'll not be able to take it up happily. Here, the point is not that we will escape our karma phalas. That is something that needs to be understood. Prarabdham ashnan abhimana varjitaha. Prarabdham is the prarabdha phalas, the share of destiny. Ashnan is experiencing it. Abhimana varjitaha. So this is the speciality. Many are places, the interpretation simply says that when we think about the Lord, when we think about either Krishna or Rama or Narayana or for that matter, any form of Brahman, it can be for Rudra also, Shiva also, it can be Shakti also, it can be Devi, it can be anything. The interpretation sometimes they keep saying that when we seek refuge or when we surrender, we can give up or escape the karma phalas. That is not the case. Karma phalas, nobody can change it, including Narayana, including Shiva, including whoever it wants to be. In fact, we have in Shiva Purana, we find so many stories where Shiva himself says, where there is a story of him and Shani Deva, where Shani, as per, his cyclic nature, he has to put his Vakra Drishti on Shiva. And Shiva is the one who gave him that power. It is because of Shiva's boon that Shani is one of the Ashtavasus, not Ashtavasus, one of the main devas. So Shiva is actually surprised that how can you say that now you need to put your Vakra Drishti on me. He is very popularly known as Karma Phaladata, Shani. So it is also said that Shiva's tamasic form is Shani and Rajasic form is Hanuman. So what happens? He says, Shani says, this is my duty. This is what I'm supposed to do. I don't have any exceptions. I cannot have any exceptions. Without having exceptions, he has Vakra Drishti on his father, that is Surya also. That is the reason for Grahana, on his mother. So he cannot differentiate that way. So he says, I cannot do anything. This is the job you gave me. And Shiva is like, he's surprised and he says, I'm the one who gave you that boon. So Shani says, see, because Shani, when he is rotating, he has to put his Drishti on the Grahagatis. So he says, we have no idea about your Tithi or anything like that because we are Anadi. So in that case, I cannot do anything. I cannot say the duration. That is within my limit only. So I will say, for 21 minutes, I'm going to put my Vakra Drishti on you. Only for 21 minutes. So Shiva says, okay. And then they decide upon a time the next day. And Shani leaves. Shiva is very inquisitive. He wants to know, is it possible that I can escape Shani's drishti or am I also under it? Practically speaking, he is the one who created that system, that method of karma phala. Because we are talking about the Brahman form. Vaishnavas and Shaivas, we are not anybody. We are taking that. We are taking the Brahman form. Shiva means something good, the most auspicious thing in terms of meaning. So Brahman is the most auspicious thing. There is nothing to counter it. So we are taking that form, not the Jata Jutadari that we have conceptualized. We can take that also, but practically speaking, we are talking about Shiva thinking, I have made this system. Can I escape the system or not? So what he does is, he tells his his Duta is Nandi. He tells Nandi, tomorrow give a message to Shani that he can place his Vakra Drishti on me for 21 minutes if he can find me within this time. He can find me or not. If he cannot find me within that time, then he cannot place his Vakra Drishti on me. So, what Shiva does, he gives this message, and the next day he is not there. He has vanished from Kailasa or Kailasa. And Shani comes, he inquires, he gets the message that, oh, you are supposed to find him. Nandi tells him that you have to first find him. It's not easy to punish or give karma phala to Shiva. First find him. And what Shiva does in meanwhile, he has come to earth, and to escape Shani's Vakra Drishti, he enters the body of a Aja, goat. He enters the body of a Aja. And one whole day passes by like this, and Shani is not able to find Shiva. And then Shiva, knowing that he has failed, he appears, he comes in front of Shani, and he's like, I thought you said everybody has to be under this system, but you could not even find me. So it seems like you missed me. You have failed in doing. See, when we say the Trimurtis, that is the nature, the Trinity, they are all seeing because of their nature. I cannot say destruction only exists at one end of point. That is not the thing. Destruction exists throughout our existence. That is the even including the Shabda Brahma, when we go for the Vaikhari, the argument is simply that when we talked about Om, when we talked about Om, what are we seeing? A Uma, only when A ends, U can start. So the nature of the Trinity is that they exist everywhere. They are all pervasive. So naturally, any kind of system that we say, they are a part of it, and it is because of them it is existing. So Shiva is like, he doesn't say, oh, I won, or I escaped, or he doesn't say that. He says, look, you failed to do your job. I gave you this job of giving everybody their karma phalas, but you failed to give mine. You didn't spot me at all. You couldn't put your Vakra Drishti on me. So Shani smiles at him and he says, you were hiding in where? He asks, where are you? He doesn't actually know. He asks, where were you? So he asks, I was hiding in a Aja, in the body of a Aja. Then Shani laughs at Shiva and says, you are the maker of the universe, and you had to hide in a body that isn't yours. You had to share an existence. How is that not a bad time for you? And I said, I will put my Vakra Drishti on you for 21 minutes. Okay, I didn't put my Vakra Drishti on you. But I'm given this job of Karma Phala Data. But that doesn't mean that Karma Phala did not exist before me. Karma also existed, Karma Phala also existed. And as a nature of this Karma Phala, you had to spend a whole day hiding from a person that you created. The position of Karma Phaladata was created by Shiva. You are hiding from that person itself. So look at the irony of it. Nobody can escape Karma Phala. Not even Tridevas. They themselves say this. So once manifestation occurs, before manifestation, Nirguna Brahman is above everything. Because Nirguna Brahman, nothing has manifested. What is the point of saying that something? See, when we have, let us say we are talking about a carom board, for example, and all those pawns are there. Now I take a striker and I hit it. There are 4 pockets. The pawns, they go hit the border, the frame of the carom board, and they have to move, and they have to reach their destination of going to one of the pockets. So there are laws over here. Okay, if I hit this pawn at this angle, okay, it will go and hit the right wall, and then it will go deflect at a certain angle, and then it will come back. There is some forces involved. Then there is friction involved, so we have to make it a smoother. We add some powder to it, etc., etc. So there are forces involved. Now imagine there is no boundaries because nothing has manifested. Nirguna means there is no guna, so no akara, which means the pawns are not round, which means there is no square shape, which means there is no pockets, which means there is no striker. In that case, karma itself has not manifested. In that case, there is no point of saying that there is a law of karma. There is a follow-up. That means there is a cause and effect relationship cannot be established. This causes this. That cannot be established. So obviously Nirguna Brahman is above that because karma itself has not manifested. But what happens when we talk about the Tridevas, karma has manifested because based on the karmas only we are giving them the primordial state. What is Vishnu doing? He is sustaining everything, so that is a karma. What is Shiva doing? Destroying. So the nature is such that because they come under the mimamsa, the law of karma, or they have, as soon as they manifest, or the nature of their manifestation is within the nature of the karma, they are abiding to it. It is not that they cannot go beyond it. Immediately, if they proceed to nirguna state, they can. If we are saying the manifestation, or if we try to do that. But now, whenever we say Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, the nature of their existence is due to some karma, and that karma has a law. Therefore, they have to abide by it. It is not that they cannot go beyond it. But once I give Akhyata, one name if I give, they have to abide by it. The only thing that we need to understand is they know this and they willingly accept it. Like, for example, when Krishna gets the curse from Gandhari, that the Yadava Kula, because of which her sons were killed, will also come to an end in a very ruthless and gory way. Krishna knows. He knows that this is the karma phala. There is an action and a reaction. He willingly submits to it. In fact, he says tathastu. So that is his understanding of the law of karma. So in the same way, what happens? The karma phala is extremely difficult. Karma mimamsa is extremely difficult. There's another book called as Jnanakanda by Rishi Kashyapa, if I remember right. That is a very complicated text to understand. Practically, what we have to notice in this shloka is simply that tishthet sada mukta samasta bandhanaha prarabdha ashnan abhimana varjitaha. The results of the prarabdha is experienced without abhimana. That's all. By thinking about it, that is dhyatva yevam, all those things. Now you have seen me as a muni, you have seen the parabrahma form, realize the brahman form. Tishtet sada mukta samasta bandhana. You have completely given up all the bandhanas, free from all kinds of bondage. Despite that, whatever is the prarabdha, You cannot escape it. But what will happen as a consequence of this? Prarabdha ashnan abhimana varjitaha. That means that discrimination of what is pain and what is uh, sukha dukha, that goes away. Because of the discrimination, when it goes away, abhimana, that oh, why should I suffer, that goes away, ahambhava goes away, and therefore the experience of prarabdha is very willing and very kshanika. For me, if I take a pin and if I poke myself, then yes, that it will always cause a lot of pain, because uh, there is abhimana, I recognize with my body. But a person who has become desensitized to it, that person will not feel it. So that is the attainment. We cannot escape karma phala because we have manifested. If we have to escape karma phala, then we have to demanifest. As simple as that. So mayeva sakshat praviliyate tataha. Mayeva, in me only. Sakshat praviliyate, merges tataha. After experiencing, that is prarabdham ashnan abhimana varjita, after experiencing everything without abhimana, then within me you will merge. This is another important thing to note. If I have done some karmas without experiencing the karma phalas, I cannot say give me moksha. That is not possible. Moksha, liberation, kaivalya can only be attained when I have willingly focused all my karma towards it. Then what happens? Whatever are the other karma, the phalas of that I should have completed it. Then whatever, this is my prayatna. What karma am I doing now? After I accepting all the karma phala for all the karmas that I have done, that is the samsarika karmas I have done, I completed it, I have accepted all the karma phalas also. Now what am I doing? Now my only destination is kaivalya. I am only practicing that. That becomes my karma. Immediately, what is the karma phala for this? That is going to be moksha. That there also it comes under the nature of karma. So it is basically a cause-effect relationship that is seen over. So mayeva sakshat praviliyate tataha. So you will merge with me directly. Sakshat swayam. You will merge with me. Now he has reached the Brahman state, Rama. This is the Bhāvārtha for this shloka. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः प्रतिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिषा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि।